any kind of degree is an investment, whether you're doing accounting, whether you're doing music, poetry, whatever you choose to do, all of it's an investment because you're investing time, effort, and money in order so that later in the future you can have some time, you don't have to work as hard, and so that you can get, twice the money that you paid. Hello guys, my name is Andre and I'm a classical pianist, and in today's video I want to talk about the things that music school will do for you, the things that it won't do for you, and if it's still worth the investment in 2025. If you are wondering what my credentials are, somewhere over there I have my degree, so just give me 1 second to let me go get it. So I actually went to music school. I just graduated this upcoming fall. And yes, it cost me a lot. It cost me about 5 years of my life. It cost my parents a little money. But overall, I was able to complete it. And I feel like I learned some very interesting things that pertain a lot to the music industry as a whole, and just what the outlook is, for all of us musicians in 2025. Now, before I get started, you know what to do: like, subscribe, and comment. Ask me questions. I actually want to interact more with you guys to see what you guys think about this. If any of you guys have gone to music school before, let me know what your experience was like, and like that I can keep in touch with you and maybe make updates along the next coming months or years to either to this video or to make a new video about a certain topic. So the more you let me know, the more I can make videos on it. So let's get on with the video. So the way that I'm going to make this video, it's going to be separated into two parts. One part is the negatives, and I guess you could say the things that music school won't do for you, and then the positives and the things that it will allow you to do. So one of the things that it won't do for you is that it will not set you up for life. This is not the 1920s or the 1800s. Nowadays, you need too many skills in order to be successful in the music industry. You can't make a living off of one job thing unless it's like a paid position, like a university position, or like an accompanist at a school district that is full-time. In those cases you will have a stable living doing only one thing. But for the most part, if you want to be an artist, so to speak, you will have to have different income streams. You will have to have knowledge on other types of fields, not necessarily non-music related, but you're gonna have to do stuff like videography, like what I'm doing here, video editing, which I do a lot actually. You do need to know some music production tips so that you can produce your own music, because the advantage is that nowadays we have access to technology that back then was a lot more expensive, and it was not cost effective to be making recordings and stuff. But nowadays, you could record something on an iPhone using a relatively okay mic, and it'll sound okay. Most people can't tell the difference between high-end equipment and low-end equipment, so you'll be fine. But you're not going to be set up for life. Point number 2: once you graduate, even though you have your degree, even though you've put in the time and all of that, you won't know everything. And that's okay. You're going to be going to school, you're going to be focusing on one thing. If you have the joy of not having to work, then it's going to be a lot better for your skills to get up there. However, if you have to work, if you have to, pay bills, as we all do, then you're going to be, split around, 4 or 5 different things, and that's okay. But while you're there, you need to, put in the time, and also understand what to do, so that you can at least have an understanding on most fields of what things that you're going to need to be doing. And that way you're not going to end up starving. You don't want to starve and say you have a music degree, but you're gonna end up starving. You can't eat the degree. So make sure that you learn as much as you can while you're there. Reason number 3 why it might not be worth it. So music as a degree, I think I get to speak bad about it because I have the degree and I went through it. The investment, because think about it, degrees, really what they are is that they're investments. And if your investment is a terrible investment, it's not going to pay you back any money. And usually, sometimes, from what I've seen, people, they have this idea of what a music path is going to do for you. And some of it comes from the naivety and the romanticism of things that we see of the 1% of players who get to live that life. And you know what? And that's fine. But, be smart about it. any kind of degree is an investment, whether you're doing accounting, whether you're doing music, poetry, whatever you choose to do, all of it's an investment because you're investing time, effort, and money in order so that later in the future you can have some time, you don't have to work as hard, and so that you can get, twice the money that you paid. So see it as an investment and see that if it's worth it, because it's okay if you switch careers, halfway through, that's fine. All of us, I think, at some point consider doing that. But if it's really for you, stick with it and make sure that you know how you're going to feed yourself after you graduate, because you don't want to be graduating and then be like, okay, so what's next? What am I going to do? And then you're going to go into survival mode, and then last thing you know, you're working a job that's completely out of your field, and you're miserable because you don't like that job. You didn't want to do that. So make sure that you think about it and see it as an investment. Okay, now let's get all that negativity out. Let's talk about the positives. The really good thing about this is that there are some very good things about the music degree path. So, reason number one, if you put in time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears, you will grow. The great thing about music school is that it challenges you from a physical standpoint. You have to practice, you have to put in the time, your time management skills are going to get better if you actually put effort, and skill points into that. You will grow if you ask questions, if you get to talk to people. So as long as you put in the time, as long as you practice, you're responsible with all of your classes. So remember, C's get degrees, and in a path like in the music, degrees, you're taking like 10 classes at a time. I mean, like 4 classes, 2 ensembles, and you're accompanying. I mean, it could be different things, but for the most part, most people take between 6 to 8 classes, depending on per semester. So you're going to be spread pretty thin, assuming that you're not even working. If you're working, then that's a whole other, thing. But for the most part, if you put in the time in your instrument, then you'll be fine. My, 2 cents is put in as much time into your instrument, into your applied lessons, because realistically, if you want to be a soloist, or even if you want to be in an ensemble, that's fine, but you want for your skills to be up there so that you can stand out from the rest, and eventually people will recognize that, and hopefully they like what you do. But yes, those are my 2 cents. Reason number 2, music school will give you access to a network of people. So I have this dilemma where in the future, I might move to a bigger city. The thing about moving to a bigger city is that I don't really have a network of people over there. Now, compared to this city where I live, it's a medium-sized city. Believe it or not, I can find more work here than some of my friends who studied, useful careers like accounting or, other stuff like x-ray technicians. I know a lot of places that can offer me a job because I know where the jobs are at and because I've built a network of people around it, right? So while you're in music school, make friends. Don't just, sit and practice in the practice room. Yes, you need to do that, but you also need time for camaraderie. You need to talk to other people in your field and venture beyond talking to people just in your instrument field. For example, I'm a pianist, so you would assume that I have only pianist friends. And it's not true. I know a bunch of other vocalists. I know an oboe player. I know some guitarists and some other orchestra people. And talk to your professors, because they've been in that area. If they've been there for a long time, they know where the jobs might be. They know what kind of people there are in your area. Talk to people. Just get to know them. You don't see it as like, oh, I need to get to know him just so that I can get a job in the future. If you do that, people will notice it and they won't want to be your friends. So the best thing you can do is just be nice, be friends with people, and take genuine interest in what they do, and you'll build that network over time. And especially if you're doing a degree in 4 or 5 years, by 4 or 5 years, you'll know if there's opportunities or not. Reason number 3, if you take the right classes, then you'll have a decent shot at success. Now, what I mean by this is you're going to have your degree path, which, let's say, for example, in my case, I did piano performance, and they give us the classes on, sighting and ear training, music theory, all of these useful classes. However, in the real world, if you're going to be like a soloist, or if you're going to make content, stuff like that, you need to pick the right classes. So I had the joy or the misery of having to take 2 or 3 minor courses. And I mean, like for example, I had to do a minor in marketing. I did a minor in music technology, and I think the last one I did was philosophy. That was just to get like extra credits, so that I could qualify for financial aid. But these classes, believe it or not, they helped me to understand what branding is. They helped me to understand how recording technology works. It helped me to understand the just how, the modern musician can make his money. And they offer you classes on music advocacy and outreach. They offer you on teaching techniques, pedagogy. Take all of these classes. If you guys want, if there's enough, comments about it, I will make a little list of some classes that you can take or something related, so that you can have somewhat of an idea of what classes are important to take, especially in today's age where everything is digital, everything is social media. It's important for you to have access to this knowledge, because if you don't know how to video edit, it's going to take you a while for you to find all the resources, find all the things on YouTube. And yes, YouTube is useful, use YouTube, but if you can take a class that you're already going to pay for anyways, just take it. It's gonna save you time and money down the on the long run. Now, those are the I guess the three things, the good and the bad. Now I want to give you just a word of caution. Be smart about the things that you're going to take. Don't assume that, yes, you're going to need, for example, chamber music for orchestra or something, depending on what you're doing. You need to know certain things, but be smart about the decision that you take. Think about what you would like to do in the future, and if there's a way for you to monetize that thing. There's a saying that says, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, which is partially true. However, work is work. You can ask any concert pianist, and I'm pretty sure they will tell you, I hate practicing 8 hours a day. Some do, but for the most part, we don't like to work, mainly because, it's a hard thing to be doing. You sit in isolation, you get to miss out on a lot of important things. But think about what you would want to do. Think about how you can monetize it, and that'll give you the second, the equal. So think, what I want to do plus monetization equals job in the future. If you can solve that equation, you should be fine for the most part. My second word of caution is, the world is moving faster than we think, in the turn, not in a metaphysical sense, but just like the way that the world is. I think I was looking at Facebook and it said something about, it's been like 50 years since we were using horses, and now we're sending rockets to Mars with the whole SpaceX thing. It's true. The world is moving much faster than we think. And so try and think a little bit ahead of where, these careers are going. Certain things are no longer going to be used, like things that can be done with AI. I don't think music, even though you can make music with AI, people are not interested in that. There is certainly a niche of people who are interested in that. However, performative arts, or performing arts, like the piano, art that's actually, being put up on the wall, even though that can also be replicated with AI. These are things that are part of, they make the human essence. It's part of how we express ourselves, and that connects with people ultimately. Think about what the career path it is that you're going to take, what it is that you want to do, and check if it's viable in 30 or 40 years in the future. I feel like the role of the musician has changed, which I actually want to make a video about that, by the way. But I feel like the role of the musician has changed, has evolved from being composer, performer, to solely performer, and then now it's in like a performer slash video editor, video maker, and that's okay. It's the natural progression of things. It's only been 400 years, give or take, since what we consider the Baroque period. I want to say it's only been about 400 years. Think, what about in the year 3000? What are people going to be doing musically that is going to impact the way that art resonates with people? So think a little bit about the future, how you're going to manage that. And if all of that works out for you, then great. You already have what you need. But for the most part, think ahead. Don't think that what worked 30 years ago is going to work right now. And especially now with social media, things move quicker. I mean, like, I don't know if you guys saw the video of this tennis player where he gives a hat to some kid, and then some guy, some dude, he takes it away from him. And people found out who the guy was. They found out that he's like a CEO of a company, and I don't know what else. But if people can find that out within like days, not even weeks, I mean, realistically, the world will change. And so, just think hard, think smart, and you'll find success. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the future of this channel because I already finished my bachelor's, degree. I'm actually going to be starting my master's in less than 24 hours. I probably should have made a video about that, and I probably will make a video about that for my first week about what my experience is. But for the most part, I'm excited for it. I'm terrified because I don't know how much work I'm going to be doing. But I'm going to try and keep a healthy outlook on it. I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to keep making shorts and reels. So if you follow me on social media, you'll still be seeing me pop up on your feed. Maybe not as much, maybe like once or twice a week. It's a lot easier for me to make videos now because I can edit faster. But these large form videos, I want to keep making them because, I mean, the numbers that I'm getting, they're not like great or anything, but people are watching them. And so maybe there is an interest in some of the things that I have to talk about, and it's just maybe it's just curiosity. But I'm going to be making at least one. I'm going to set the goal for one video a month, and then maybe like 4 or 5 or 6 shorts a month, so that I can balance that with my work, my practice, and yeah, so that's the future. I'm not changing anything. I'm not leaving. I'm not going to stop making videos. If anything, I'm going to keep making more now that I have some tools to be able to make them. And yeah, so if you're going to start school, good luck to you. If you're thinking about it, think about it, work at it, and, give it a shot. Maybe it's worth doing. See you guys later.